So, when Kanhaiya Kumar recently joined from the CPI into the Congress party, then, those who have been criticizing the Congress party all along for leaning towards the left said, see, there you have it. This is now confirmed that the Congress feels that going towards the left or leaning towards the left is something which is now the new mantra for the Congress party. Also, there are many people who are associated in the inner coterie of Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka Gandhi Vadra who either have been ex-genuines or people who actually quit the SFI, that's the student wing of the CPI or the CPIM, and who have joined the Congress party. There are people like Sitaram Yechuri, for example, who's considered to be one of the closest and one of the most strongest advisors for Rahul Gandhi. Again, he comes in from the left. The image of the Congress party increasingly, Aman, is becoming one of a NGO, jhola-clad kind of a Congress party, which is moving away from its earlier style. But I would also have a difference of opinion on that because, at one point of time, Indira Gandhi was moving towards the left and she was criticized for that. And therefore, she had to move towards economic liberalization. Rajiv Gandhi was known for his economic liberalization. P.V. Narasimha was known. I think the trend also
Yeah.
started changing towards Sonia Gandhi when she had an NAC. And I think the son is largely picked up from the mother. The sister is also picked up from the brother. But, Aman, let's talk about the larger political issue of it. Does the Congress shifting towards the left actually help the other political parties, like for most importantly, the BJP?
Well, I think the signaling from the Congress is also pretty confusing. As you just said, they're
Yeah.
moving towards the left, and kind of statements given by Priyanka Gandhi yesterday at Varanasi, raising questions over another corporate house and saying that the the way Air India has been disinvested, and she raised questions on that. But on the other hand, there's also an aggressive Hindutva push. She chanting the Durga Stuti, she smearing her forehead with the tilak and going to Kashi Vishwanath. She's earlier taken the dip in the Sangam. So, I wonder what really the Congress strategy here is to go high on the leftist agenda or go on the extreme rightist, path of Hindutva approach, going to temples as Rahul Gandhi has earlier done in Gujarat elections. I think Priyanka is trying to do the same in these elections, so that Congress becomes a more acceptable party amongst, even the right wing in a state like Uttar Pradesh, where that factor is also very important with a chief minister like Yogi Adityanath. So does the Congress have different horses for different courses? It is also pretty confusing. I think not just for the media, but also for the voter. That what is Congress really appealing to, and does the voter really is he really impressed by these kind of gestures when you have a party like the BJP in UP and a chief minister like Yogi Adityanath, as I just said, when you have a pure right-wing Hindutva on offer, would you go for a second option, in the Congress? That also is, remains unclear on what the strategy in UP is. And as we all know, also, I think going ahead because UP is going to be the main flavor of the next few months. Also, there's increasing Priyanka presence in UP is also becoming very talked about now in the last 1 week since Lakhimpur. So, what do you think? Is it more like a Congress revival in UP, or will it be like earlier when there's a lot of talk but not much result on the ground?
But you know this, Aman, as much as I know. At the end of the day, what really gives the strength to a political party is your organization. Yes, I think the party workers are very enthused. From a no-show from the Gandhis, at least the Gandhis are turning up. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, I think that's the maximum she's really stayed in UP. From Sitapur to
Yeah.
Lakhimpur to Varanasi, and she's on a Monvrat today. So more than 7 days, which is a lot that they've got for. But when she comes back to Delhi, that's the worry. They come back to Delhi, they tend to forget. Video conferencing se hota hai. And the worst part is that they don't even have a very strong organization. You need to arrest that. I mean, I know, to be fair to her, she's been trying. I mean, at the block level, at the district level, but people are leaving. I mean, Lalitesh Tripathi, I remember I've always seen him by her side. When I remember she did that Ganga Yatra, crisscrossing, and he was in Mirzapur, there was this feeling that maybe he's going to win and he would be able to defeat Anupriya Patel, all of that. But if your organization is weak, the problem is not just the BJP, the Samajwadi Party too has a strong organization, and they're beginning the yatra. The red bus is all ready to go, and
Yeah.
therefore,
Yeah.
and you're right. I mean, why will I opt for the second best when I have the best as far as the Hindutva agenda is concerned? No one can beat the BJP in that game. And that I think when the Congress party has decided to do this because they also wanted to counter the perception about them that they indulge in Muslim minority appeasement and so on and so forth. And
Yeah.
therefore, Rahul Gandhi started this Janay Udhari, Shiv Bhakt, Brahman, all that in Lok Sabha. It didn't work. It doesn't work. Why Mamata Banerjee, when she did the Chondi part in Nandigram, she lost in Nandigram, right? So people are very smart. I mean, these are voters. They are very, very smart.
And I don't think the BJP also, really minds giving Priyanka so much space in UP. As you rightly say, does this Hindutva angle work against a government which is like building the Ram temple in Ayodhya? How do you counter that kind of a narrative when you say you are better than that party? Anyways, but I think BJP, what I gather from BJP, they don't really mind ceding this little bit of space to Priyanka because they feel it hurts the uh, opposition space. And already a very important statement coming from Naresh Uttam yesterday, Samajwadi Party's state chief, where he has
Yeah.
said that whatever Priyanka is doing, whatever is happening, people know that the real challenger is Akhilesh Yadav, and ultimately it is Akhilesh Yadav who's going to challenge Yogi Adityanath. And he's also said that it is BJP's strategy to confuse the voter who is going to vote for the opposition. So these are very interesting comments. It also shows that the Samajwadi Party is also a bit worried over the space Priyanka is getting, because they feel ultimately, if the upper caste voter, for example, is angry with the BJP, as the notion in UP is, BJP doesn't want that upper caste voter to go to the Samajwadi Party or the BSP. It would prefer it for it to go to the Congress, because they know Congress is not in a position to win the seats. And it may get a bit of more vote share, but may not be able to win a seat. And similarly with the Muslim vote, the Muslim vote with also the what Priyanka is doing, and what BJP hopes that the Muslim vote also gets divided amongst the SP, BSP, and Congress, like in the earlier elections, if Congress is a bit aggressive on the field. So an aggressive Congress doesn't really, I think, mean bad news for the BJP. It is actually more bad news for the Samajwadi Party and the BSP into going into the election. And very surprisingly, yesterday I saw some tweets also while Priyanka was addressing that rally. Some Congress leaders and spokespersons tweeting that Bhavi Mukhyamantri, Nahi Mukhyamantri. So, Congress also now, I think, breaking that glass ceiling and now actually saying that Priyanka is our face. And even going to the extent, some of them saying she's
Yeah.
our chief ministerial face. So that's a big, ambitious kind of a statement from the Congress for Priyanka in UP.
Yes, I mean, they're certainly putting a lot of effort in a state where the Congress party perhaps possibly has a minimal chances, and less on states like, say, Uttarakhand or Punjab. I mean, a Bhupesh Baghel, he worked for them in Assam. Bhupesh Baghel is supposed to be an excellent organizer, fundraiser, so on and so forth. And the fact that, they've actually in UP worked in a very coordinated manner in the last 7 days, really, Aman. Bhupesh Baghel, then you use Charanjit Singh Channi to go there, and, you have
Yeah.
Dipinder Hooda who's accompanying her. It's
Yeah.
very, very interesting the way they're putting an effort on UP. They began late, but I know Priyanka has told people that public memory is very short. They're going to remember the last leg, and the last leg of the race becomes very important. But the last leg of the race also has to be backed up with stamina, with a strong organization. Will that work? Or is the Congress party going to be just happy with, say, around 15 to 20 seats? And then possibly look at a
Yeah.
post-poll scenario. It's still too early days yet, but and it's interesting because if in UP the Congress is able to do well, and if in UP Priyanka is actually now being spoken of as an alternative to Yogi and as the CM phase, which means that the Congress's earlier style, that the Gandhis have to be protected and let's put them into a cotton wool kind of
Yeah.
an existence, that strategy is being abandoned. At least Priyanka is coming across as much, much
Yeah.
stronger and braver than Rahul Gandhi in this case.
Yeah, she's going all out. That is very clear. And,
Yeah.
especially I was speaking to somebody in the Samajwadi Party who was telling me that, their strategy also looks like Congress bargaining tactic come November, December, that have an alliance with us. We are a strong party now. We need
Mm.
like seats, 70, 80 seats, get into an alliance with us or we'll end up hurting you. So, Samajwadi Party also has this sense that, this is also being done for ultimately that alliance to maybe come in shape. Though the Congress and SP both vehemently deny it and both claim they will win the state on their own. But the political realities, I think it's very clear that an alliance will be needed, may be needed to challenge the BJP, which is in a very strong position in the state right now. And yes, Lakhimpur is a setback, and already we see BJP, doing some damage control with the way Swatantra Dev Singh's statement yesterday, in a way disassociating the party with the minister's son, at least. So BJP is, I think, quicker on its feet here to control that damage. And what happens is very interesting in the next 2 months. But definitely, I think everybody in the media, everybody even the electorate is confused with this Congress strategy. Is it leftist? Is it rightist? Is it
I'm
center?
always
What is it?
confused with the Congress party. I cover this party and I'm really very confused. But Aman, before we start wrapping up, one quick last point, one
Yeah.
point I'll make and do add on to it. This Jhola chap or a left leading of the Congress party actually hurts the Congress party in the national level. And the second thing is not everyone in the Congress party is actually happy with it. For example, the state government like a Bhupesh Baghel, they have given contracts to private players. The Congress itself wanted a disinvestment of Air India. And that's exactly what Jyotiraditya Scindia told me. You don't change your stand depending on which chair you're sitting on. And there are many so-called corporate friendly and many actually I would say realistic leaders in the Congress party who feel that the more you shift towards the left and the more you keep on attacking the corporates, it's actually going to harm you because then, there's a certain section who would not want to vote for you. They will say, why should we vote for them? Inke aane se your communism aa jayega, that socialism aa jayega. So not many in the Congress. I mean, the captain was never comfortable with it. Kamal Nath was never comfortable with it. And do you think the BJP is uncomfortable with the Congress's attack on the corporates? Doesn't seem like it.
No, I don't think they will say much on it. And obviously, BJP stand has always been that corporates have had a big role in the country's development, and they are nationalists, and they are contributing to the country's GDP growth and everything. I don't think Congress has said that in the past, but now it takes a U-turn. But on the point of Kanhaiya, joining in the leftists, as you said, the elements of left joining the Congress, it is in fact goes into BJP's favor in states like UP and Bihar. We remember the Bihar elections.
Yeah.
You remember Congress giving a ticket to the former AMU president, and how that Bihar the election changed with that narrative. Already the BJP in UP is saying the Tukde gang is joining, and already the social media of BJP in UP is already harping on it that the kind of people joining the Congress are allegedly, or as they say, Tukde gang and not nationalists. So that is completely playing down BJP's alley. BJP loves this kind of, so I think Congress will not gain, at least I don't think Congress is going to gain in UP and Bihar or these northern states with this kind of approach. Yeah.
Yeah, trust the Congress party indulging in self-goal and also trust the Congress usually loses because of the Congress party itself. But that's great chatting up once again. And as you said, election season has begun, and UP certainly is going to be a state which everyone is going to be focusing on. And who would have thought at one point of time we'd even be talking about Congress party in the context of Uttar Pradesh? Thank you so much. It was great joining up once again.
Thank you.